Stuart, I have a question, please.
Yes, Fred.
Can you define what is joy?
Can I define joy?
What is joy?
Look, joy is a lightness of being. It's an openness in the heart. It's gratitude. It's really arriving at a, elevated place inside oneself. So I always say, happy people, people with joy and love inside them that can live that way all the time. They're basically enlightened people. They're people that have learned everything they have to learn on the earth. And their souls are ready to move on. They've had their education. And what is joy? I don't know. Seeing all of you here in this class doing deep spiritual work brings a lot of joy to my heart. Seeing my daughter succeed in life and really growing in an incredible way brings a lot of joy. But even more important than that, seeing how my inner life has evolved over the last 20, 30 years, coming to a place where there's real happiness inside. I can feel that joy. I get up in the morning and it's there. I go to bed at night and it's there. I mean, I lose it sometimes during the day, but I know how to regain it. So what is it? It's just really probably one of the highest emotions a human being can have. Joy, happiness leads to love. Love leads to unconditional giving and receiving. And all of these steps lead to spiritual enlightenment. They lead to a oneness with God. And it's, the ability to find joy with people that we live with and people that we know on the earth. The ability to find joy because we're connected with spiritual energy. It's a state of being. And it evolves organically inside someone because somebody has done the work on themselves to build an inner life that is strong enough to be able to keep their heart open. And it's not contingent on what we get from the external world. It's contingent upon how deeply we have worked on ourselves, how strong the chakra system is, how open we are, how grateful we are, and how we can offer that gratitude unconditionally to higher energy. All of this is a state of being. So you really can't define joy. What happens is your system just evolves into it. And then you don't have to define it, you experience it, you live with it every day. And I think that's a much better way of coming to terms with what joy is, a living experience. It's the result of how deeply we have worked inside to build a chakra system that allows that particular flower to flourish, the joy flower. And then you don't have to understand it. You don't have to define it. Look, I can't define anything that I do. I mean it. I'm the last person to ask to give you a definition about what Kundalini yoga is all about. I mean it. But I'm one of the first people you can ask about how you get there and how you truly experience this as a living reality within yourself. Joy, happiness, foundation, the ability to communicate because we're no longer clogging up the throat with our tension. The ability to receive knowledge and wisdom because we're no longer clogging up our minds with our tension. Now, can I define any of this stuff? No, I can't. But I can guide people on how to get there. And then you don't have to define it, you just live it. Much better to live things than to define it. Once you understand things, you just bring them down to your level of understanding. When you experience them as living realities, they take you endlessly, into the earth, into the cosmos, into.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Pride. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? I honestly am the last person you should ever ask to define anything that has to do with an inner life. Because my mind isn't big enough to understand the workings of God. It's not, and I'll be the first to admit it. But my heart, my chakra system is open enough to be able to experience and receive the workings of God, both on the earth and in the cosmos. I mean, this last month for me has been a very difficult month with physical things. 3 crowns I need to have, 2 more still coming. Ankle that's been a mess for a long time. It's finally getting better. And other things, but it hasn't at any time taken away the joy that's in my heart. The absolute unconditional gratitude to be able to sit here and do this meditation with all of you. And never taking it for granted, never assuming anything, just doing the inner work, whether it's one person or 30 or 40 people, whoever's there. Those are the people that are really helping me to grow, and I'm so grateful for their presence. Does anyone else have a question they would like to?
I have a question, Stuart. In
Yeah.
your book, Moving On, you say both success and failure have their place in the design of the universe. Can you please talk about that?
Well, how do you succeed in life unless you learn how to fail?
Ah,
I mean, really, we all fail and we beat ourselves up, we get upset, we get angry, instead of saying, all right, what do I have to learn from this?
mhm.
I mean, look, I can use the best example. My gallery was open for 2 weeks in New York. And somebody came there with a bronze, Lohan, Chinese, looked like it was 18th century. And I bought it from him. It wasn't expensive, it was a few $100s, And it turned out to be a fake. And I kept that bronze. I never got upset. I said, all right, a cheap investment. I put that bronze on my desk and I use that bronze as a reminder that whenever I buy something, find out what the hell you're buying. That bronze, that $200 investment probably saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was a mistake, but it became a huge success, depending on how you use the mistake. So, we're all going to make mistakes in life. And instead of getting beaten up by them, we say, okay, what can I learn here? How can this help me elevate my consciousness? How can this help me get closer to God? How can this help me succeed on the earth? So there are no mistakes. They're just opportunities to grow.
Oh, that's great.
And you need to have these things. Things have to happen.
Mhm.
You understand? As a reminder, be more conscious.
Yeah.
Be more open. I mean, I've had this with a lot of people who I trusted, and I got screwed. People who were students of mine and this and that, and I got screwed. Well, it taught me a lot about people.
Mhm.
So I didn't get screwed. I grew because of what happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I lost some money. All right, money, you could always get more money. And then it takes away a fear of living. You understand? We're so afraid, we have to be perfect. We can't make a mistake. We have to succeed in everything. Instead of saying, I'll take it a step at a time and learn from whatever happens, a step at a time. God is perfect. The rest of us are a bunch of bumbling idiots, I mean, really. Hope you don't feel insulted by that. I don't.
No. That's really great. Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, if you have to be perfect all the time, I guarantee your life is going to be a total failure. You're going to be a miserable and unhappy person because it's an impossibility. But if you accept all the different teachings of life, you won't be a miserable person. You'll be a very happy person, using whatever takes place in your life as an opportunity to grow. Does anyone else have a question? And look, when I was 16 years old, I read a poem by T.S. Eliot called The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. It's a very famous poem.
Yeah.
And it really shook me up when he got to that section. And indeed, there will be time to wonder, do I dare and do I dare? Time to turn back and descend despair with a bald spot growing in the middle of my hair. I mean, it was just kind of a frank and real expression of getting older and having spent a lifetime wondering, do I dare? Will I make a mistake? Do I dare? Do I dare? And I think that a lot of people live that way. I would say most people live that way. Because everybody is connected to energy that's infinite in the universe. That energy can bring enormous success in life. Both, financial success and spiritual success and all kinds of success. And, it's just, do I dare?
Mm.
You don't dare if you have to be perfect, because then you're afraid to do something. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So people live in a paralyzed world, and they only have themselves to blame because they don't dare. They're afraid to take a chance. Okay, listen, tomorrow I have to have one of those crowns prepared, and they give me very heavy sedation there, they really, and there probably will be a class, because I think by the time this class takes place tomorrow, it will wear off. I will send out, an invite to everybody. But if I happen to get online here and I can barely talk and tell you, I'll have to skip the class this evening, don't get upset. It's just, But I'm sure there's going to be a class. It takes 3-4 hours for that to wear off. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you, bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You.